talking about what, Ash?
Expectations.
Expectations. Let's all say that together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Expectations.
You like having us repeat things.
I do, because repetition is a key to memory.
Practice makes permanent.
That's right. So this is what I want to share about expectations. This is actually a quote from myself. This is something I started saying lately, kind of as a joke, but I actually believe it.
Yeah, there's truth to it.
Expectation management is the key to happiness.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I've been saying lately.
Yeah.
Expectation management is the key to happiness. Let me illustrate it for you. Ryan Leak is here, and he's requesting to be in our live video. Ryan, I want to let you join, but we're on Facebook too. So unless you can figure out a way to come with us on both, I don't know what to do.
My hair is so crazy tonight.
Well, your hair is beautiful. Okay?
I'm so really funny.
Let me illustrate why I believe expectation management is the key to happiness. Okay, the past 3 days, my father-in-law Dean and I have been working on building a fence, building it ourselves. I wanted the experience, and I also wanted to save the money. Okay, so I'm building this fence, and I had an expectation that we would finish it today. Ashley, did we finish it today?
We didn't.
We didn't.
No, it's...
You know what we did? We hung them all a little bit too high. Every panel.
Shooties.
So tomorrow we got to go back, get up early in the morning, and try to lower every panel. And so it was an opportunity for me to be disappointed.
Yeah, and
except I was for a moment. Except I had a beautiful, wonderful wife that helped me manage my expectations properly. See, I would be disappointed and sad if my expectation is that the fence gets finished tonight. But with a simple tweak of my expectation, if I simply say, no, my expectation is that the fence gets finished well, and I loosen the timeline, there's nothing to be disappointed in.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be able to move your expectations.
Amend your expectations.
You have to.
You gotta be able to do it.
Absolutely.
Expectation management is the key to happiness. I really believe that. And so when it comes to relationships, I think it's the same. I think of so many of the problems people get in is because of improper expectation management. It's really important. So we want to talk to you guys about 3 steps to managing expectations properly. Step number 1, what is it, Ash?
You got to know your expectations.
You got to know them.
Do you know them?
Do you?
You probably do.
Maybe, but I don't know if people do.
I don't. Yeah.
You think everybody out there is really in tune with their own expectations?
I don't think everybody is.
No, I think, seriously, think about, have you ever been frustrated with somebody you're in a relationship with? Husband or wife, child, coworker, friend, whatever it is. Have you ever been just like frustrated with them and not even been able to really communicate why? It's probably because you have an expectation on them that you don't even realize. The first step to managing your expectations is you got to know them.
Yeah.
Think about why that's so important. Because how can someone meet an expectation that you don't even know you have on them?
Right. Well, and I feel like we do this to people a lot.
A lot.
Right, because we're
to ourselves.
To ourselves, our friends, and our marriage. It's like, well, if they knew me, then then they would understand. They would know what I'm wanting, what I'm expecting. But
before they can know any of your expectations, you got to know your own first.
Yeah.
So I think this is something that is a little bit more hard for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm a naturally introspective, I'm a naturally introspective person, not introverted, introspective. I'm constantly paying attention to the state of my own inner workings, so I can clearly communicate or clearly understand I have an expectation. But this is a little harder for you.
It is.
So can you share something with the people about just what is it taking in your life to realize and know your own expectations? What helps you know your own expectations?
Daniel, I don't know. See, even even talking about it, I'm like, I do feel like I am the kind of person that I do have expectations. I have a hard time putting them into words, but I just expect people to know them. So I think as far as our marriage goes, there's a lot of times where I'm like, I shouldn't have to ask you. or I feel like I shouldn't have to tell you. Like, you should just know what I'm asking of you, which is
hard,
super unfair. No one here is a genie.
Which
not
leads,
a mind reader.
Actually, I'm glad you said that. Leads perfectly to step number 2. Step number 1 in expectation management is you got to know your own expectations. But step number 2 is you have to communicate your expectations. So you can't communicate an expectation you don't know, but someone can't meet an expectation they don't know you have. So here's another quote I'm going to throw out there for you.
True.
You guys ready for another Daniel Young quote?
Sure.
An unspoken expectation is an unmet expectation. What do you think about that, Ashley? That's
I
true.
like that. And I feel like that's across the board, like for any relationship that you're in. Yeah.
If you're a leader, have you ever been frustrated, leaders, because somebody didn't do something the way you wanted them to? Well, did you communicate your expectations clearly? I don't know. You ever been frustrated with a friend because they didn't meet your expectations? Well, did you communicate your expectations? And then this is where we get in trouble, right? Because people will often say, well, if you really loved me, you would just know. You feel that sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm. How do you battle that? How do you combat that?
Well, it usually starts something like this. Daniel, I feel like I shouldn't have... Then you saying, Ash, how am I supposed to know if you don't ever communicate? Which I then fire back something along the lines of, because we've been married for almost 10 years and it's what we always do, but it's fine. The point is, if I don't actually ask you or communicate clearly what I would like for you to do or help me with or whatever, I should not have the expectation that you're going to do it, because that's really not on the other person. That's on me.
An unspoken communication or an unspoken expectation is an unmet expectation. It's so important. But this is the thing that we've really had to navigate, is talking about your expectations can be uncomfortable. It can be weird. It's not the kind of thing where you're like watching whatever Netflix show you're watching and you're like, hey, can I talk to you about my expectations of you? Right?
Right.
And I feel like that's something that we've struggled with, is like, you don't love having those kinds of conversations.
No, I hate them. I do. I don't love them. I'm not good at them.
But they're important. And
but
so
they are.
So here's one of the tips that I've picked up on how to actually talk about expectations in a helpful way and not spring it on the person you're in a relationship with.
Which I think when we first got married, that is what you would do.
Spring it on you.
Just get me.
You just be in the middle of doing
nowhere,
laundry, and I would just walk up and be like, I feel like we need to talk about this right now.
I'm like, I feel like we don't. Like, not the right time.
That's right. So here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned.
We're learning.
Is you can actually help the person you're in a relationship with by giving them a little bit of leeway, by giving them a heads up. Hey, tonight at dinner, I really want to just take 10 minutes and just talk about expectations. I want to talk about something that I'm seeing, something I'm feeling, something I'd love to just hear your thoughts on. Give them a heads up. Give them a frame of reference. We all know how terrible it feels when someone says to you, hey, can you talk? Or, hey, we need to talk.
You're like,
we need to talk. Your mind immediately goes to worst case scenario.
And you immediately start getting defensive. Like, well, why do you need to talk to me?
Yeah.
What do you talk about? It doesn't set up good communication of like, and I think that's something we learned in the beginning when you would kind of throw it on me. And I feel like my instinct was just to get defensive. Like, no, this is not a good time. And now I'm annoyed that you even asked me. So it just starts even more problems. But I feel like we've learned, if you say, hey, Ash, I would love after we put the kids to bed, if we can just like for 10 minutes talk this through. And I'm like, okay, now I have time to like mentally prepare because I'm a 2 and I need it. Yep. And I can go into the conversation level-headed and come with certain things that I have as well. That's
right. It's a great point.
Yeah.
It's so helpful.
It
Give
really,
them a
really
frame
is.
of reference. Give them a heads up, and then have the conversation.
Yes. And not like, we need to talk tonight.
No,
like,
totally.
Super loving.
Yeah.
Be extra.
Yeah, and I'll also say this. The time to talk about expectations is not immediately after someone didn't meet one of yours. Right?
Yes.
Because our tendency is You just didn't meet my expectation. I'm frustrated with you, and now I want to talk about it. But guess how we're going to talk about it? Like that.
Yeah, we've been there.
That's true. We've learned from experience.
We've learned. Everything we say to you
it's mostly because we've done it all wrong.
Learned and experiences. But that's a really, really good
Yeah.
point.
All right. Last thing you need to do with your expectations. You got to know your own. You got to communicate your expectations. And then, what do you need to do, Ashley?
You need to evaluate.
You got to evaluate your expectations. What do we mean by that, Ash?
Like, basically, are they reasonable? Are the expectations that you have of someone else, are they reasonable?
Wait, hold on. My expectations can be unreasonable? That's a possibility?
Yes.
But isn't that how we feel?
But we all feel like our expectations are super important.
Right. We all feel like, well, I expect it, so you should do it.
Yeah.
But hold on 1 second. You have to honestly evaluate your own expectations, and not by yourself. You are a terrible evaluator of your own expectations. You want to know who's a good evaluator of your expectations? The other person you're in a relationship with.
It's true. Here's an example.
Say it.
When I have to go somewhere and you have all the kids, my expectation used to be, I feel like the way that I manage our house while Daniel is away is everything's in order. So even if there's crazy, it's being picked up. It's being, you know what I'm saying? Like, we keep a routine and everything is fine. I used to expect that of Daniel with our kids. So I would leave and I would come home and be like, why does it feel like everything went wrong in the last hour?
Because it did.
Because it probably did. And our kids make messes and it is crazy. But I feel like my expectation now is, I'm just glad they're having fun with their dad. It doesn't really matter what our house looks like. If I need to take an extra 10, or actually what I've started doing, because I don't like cleaning up playrooms, is I'm like, I didn't make the mess, you guys clean it up. So
that's fair. And
10-minute power
if
clean.
you walk into the living room and all of the cushions are off the couch and the kids are face diving into it,
I have to let it go.
It's all good.
Because you're
making memories.
I gotta let it go. Does it really matter if the couch cushions stay on the couch? Or is the memory far better?
Okay, let me give
Probably
you now
not.
an example from my own. This is a serious
is it about
example.
me?
No, it's about me. Why would I give a bad example, buddy? This is going to be a bad example. This is an example of how not to evaluate expectations. Of poorly evaluated expectations. After we had Elliot, see, we didn't communicate, and I didn't evaluate, and one of the expectations I had on Ashley is that she would get up with Elliot for the whole night and let me sleep because I was going to work in the morning and she wasn't. I'm just going to let that sit out there in the Instagram and Facebook world. Because I realize now that was really poorly evaluated expectation.
Oh. Yes, it was. And I remember, first of all, we had that conversation at the wrong time because it was the middle of the night. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just made the baby, carried it, birthed it, and now I'm feeding it, and you're sleeping like the best sleep you've ever had in your life. And so I was just like,
not good.
You work tomorrow, I also work tomorrow by trying to keep a new person alive. Yep. And so that took us some time to figure out, like, your expectation was not communicated and was, you're staying home, you'll do everything like that. Like, I don't need to wake up in the middle of the night.
Right.
My expectation was, we made the baby together. He's both of ours. We're going to share in the responsibility. And I never said that either. So it all boiled down to like 3 o'clock in the morning. And we were like so mad at each other. I'm like, we need to talk about this because I'm not okay. You know, like, you're a new mom, Natalie, you get it. First baby.
That's right.
New mom, you're just like, I can't, everything's new. So anyways.
That is a tale, a terrible tale, my friends. A harrowing tale of poorly evaluated expectations.
But here we are,
We learned.
Child number 4 will be here soon.
And I'm ready to get up.
And now we have such a good rhythm. We're like a well-oiled machine.
Hit a stride.
Third time's a charm.
That's right.
But we got it.
So there you
But
go.
it took communicating our expectations to
That's
each
right.
other and having some give and take a little bit.
So as a reminder, expectation management is the key to happiness. That's what we have for you today.